Alright guys, thank you very much for joining us today. Welcome to our channel. My name is Eden. Alright, today we are going to talk about the value of time. We all understand time and we know time, but we probably don't understand or have not given thought about the value of time. Time is a very important factor. The reason why I look the way I look today is because of time. I was once a baby, but now I'm a middle-aged man, all right? And that applies to everybody else. These cities that we see, which are very big, they were once very small suburbs at some point. It was all because of time. The one thing that we should manage very, very well if we want to succeed is time. I was having a discussion with my friend recently. He was saying to me, why is it that some people seem to succeed while others struggle? Then the answer that I gave him was that, in some families, people are born fortunate, yes, but I think we all have an equal chance of succeeding in a way, not to the same level, but at least to make it in life and live a decent life. But what we do with our time is what matters. The decisions that we make on a daily basis are the ones that determine what will happen in our lives or who we become at the end of it all. Right, so I went ahead and gave him an example to say, do you know that people everywhere, especially here in Zimbabwe, people are always saying, it doesn't pay being a teacher, it doesn't pay being a civil servant, it doesn't pay being this or that or that or that. But what I'll tell you is, there are rich teachers, there are rich civil servants, there are rich people in every sector, right? And there are poor doctors, there are poor professors, there are poor pilots. This applies to everyone, right? It's not about the job, it's about this one factor which I'm talking about right now, which is called time. All right, let me give you an example. On average, a child grows up to around about 16 years and finishes their Form 4. All right? At Form 4, you have two options. You can go straight away to do a diploma, or you can advance 2 more years and do A-level, and then do a degree, hopefully. But I want to talk first about the person who takes the route of going to the diploma as an example of managing time well. Right? Let's say this child has decided early enough in life that I want to be a teacher. They don't have doubts about that. They know people are saying, the job doesn't pay, the job is, this and that, but they decide that they want to be a teacher, and that's their choice. And at 16, they decide that I don't want to go to A-level. Let me go to a teacher's college and do a teaching diploma. Right? Which means they will finish at around about 19 because the diploma is average of 3 years. Right? They'll finish at around 19 years. And then they come back and get a school, possibly in the rural areas. And they're getting paid $300 per month. Chances are that at this age, assuming there isn't much of responsibilities in their families, chances are that their expenses will really fit in the first $100. They can get enough food for that and decent clothing, $100 every month, and put aside the other $200. When they put aside the other $200, at the end of the year, they will have something like $2,400. Right? $2,400 is a lot of money, which you can use. You can deposit a stand. You can buy cattle, which is the best idea, I think, or a good idea compared to buying a stand maybe that early. Okay? You buy cattle, let's say you buy 5 at $500 each. and they will start reproducing. And by that time, you are only 20 also. By the time you are 30, how many will we have? What if you make them double the next year? Okay, if you save enough for 3-4 years, you can buy a stand and start building. By the time you are 30, you'll be having a house, you'll be having cattle. Let's say you are now 30 and you decide that as a guy, I want to get married. Of course, we know with girls it's normally much earlier. Okay, as a guy, you want to get married, let's say at 30. You now already have your cattle, a lot of them. You now have a stand and you start your family like that. Chances are that by the time your child goes to school, your cattle will be enough to cater for the school fees of your child, and to help you invest in other things. You can sell them and invest in other things. Maybe you start a farm or you start another kind of business. But let's take on the other side of the coin. You finished A level, you finished O level. You decided that no, I don't want to be a teacher. But the reality of the situation is, given the economic situation, there's very limited options for you, right? Then you decide that no, I don't want to be a teacher. And you go to A level. It means you now have 2 years that you're still in high school. And then from there, you finish A level and maybe stay home for another 1 year waiting to go to varsity. By this time, presumably you are now around 20 years old, which is more or less the same time that this other friend of yours started working. All right? By that time, you are now going to start a degree, which is a 4-year degree. You do a degree, maybe an honors in sociology or social sciences or whatever. And then you come back after 4 years and then you start working. By that time, you're probably 25. If you don't stay for a year or so without getting a job, you're probably 25, 26. Not about that. Right. And what happens is you now have fewer options. Let's say you fail to get a job in the industry that you were supposed to get into, and then you opt for teaching still, right? You have done engineering, you have done this, you have done that, but you fail to get a job and then say, okay, let me go back and become a science teacher at a high school or something. And then you are now 25, you start working at 25. This guy who started at 19 or at 20 is miles ahead of you because of time, not because of how much you are paid, right? Even if you were going to get a job that pays more than them, but because of time, most likely they are stable and they are moving forward. All right, and you are just starting out. You're probably gonna feel the pressure of society again and say, okay, in 2 years' time I'll be 30, or this, I need to get married fast. The next thing, you now have a lot of things weighing you down. Kids, your wife, relatives, everything. Rent, you need bigger space because you now have a family, this and that. Right? So let's look at those two options. The other person started early and the other person started later. Right? Chances of succeeding for the one who started early are much, much higher than the one who started later. Of course, there are many factors that come into play here, but I'm just giving you the value of time. Right? Now, from the same angle, let's look at it this way. The same salary that we are saying is too little, $300. I'll tell you, the same $300 that is doing wonders for a 20-something-year-old is barely enough to do the basics for a 50-year-old or 60-year-old. Why? It's still because of time. This guy now has kids that are in varsity, he's got kids, probably grandkids that he's living with, which means he needs more money for food, bigger space for rental, this and that, transport for the grandkids, and So your mind will be chasing quite a lot of things because of the same thing that we talked about, which is time. Guys, it's very, very important to decide well and early. Okay, very important. Do not waste your time telling yourself what you don't want to be. Be particular and be sure of what you want to be and work towards that. Many people have failed in life because of such things, whereby they didn't value their time. Don't be a person who sits down all day long doing nothing, who sits up very late watching TikTok and YouTube and all these other things without doing anything. Time is very valuable, guys. Time is very, very important. It's the one thing that you can never replace. Money can be stolen and you can replace it, but time is never replaceable. Any minute lost is gone for good. Any year lost is gone for good. We have heard these things, and we ourselves, even yourself, you have probably regretted to say, if only I had done what I'm doing right now, if only I had done it earlier, I could have been very far. Because you have lost already on time, and that's time you will never recover. Let's be cognizant of the importance of time. Let's understand the value of time. There are people who died without achieving their goals because they wasted the little time they had available. There are people right now who are in jobs that they don't enjoy because they wasted time when it was available. There are people who are living their lives which are the opposite of the life they wanted because they didn't value time when it was important. When you see your child playing with other children on the street, call them home, sit down with them, and help them manage their time. Give them time to play, yes, but then don't allow them to waste their valuable years. The importance of time can never be overemphasized because it is time that shapes everything. As I've already said, there was a time when I was a baby, but look at me, I'm now a father already, right? If you don't manage the time of the same child that you're talking about today, they will live with the same regrets that you have as a parent. The main other problem that I've seen is because of lack of understanding of the value of time, most of us have invested all our time to our jobs, which pay us nothing, right? Let's say you get paid the $300 that we've been talking about, and you go to work 20 days a month. If you divide that 20 into 300, you get $15 a day, right? And then you wake up at 6 o'clock and come back at 6 o'clock, which means you're putting in roughly 10 to 12 hours of your time into that job. Divide the $15 per day by the 10 hours that you put in per day, and you get $1.50 per hour. Whether that's a lot of money or not, I don't know, but I feel that is too little. A person who is doing something on the streets, selling bananas or whatever, can easily make a lot more than that. Let's learn to manage our time. While our jobs are very important, it's very important to look at it from the angle of what the job is costing you versus what it is giving you. Okay? You can make a living from your job, but you will never make a fortune, right? You can survive from a job, but you will never make a fortune. All this because of management of time. Let's say you are a teacher. You know, I was talking to this other teacher friend of mine who was saying she wants to do a master's degree and be promoted and become a deputy headmaster or a headmaster. Then I said, what is the benefit of being that? Means you don't, then she said, you don't have much workload, and you get an increment, this and that and that. And I was saying, what is the amount of time that you're going to put into your master's degree? 2 years. And how much money are you going to invest in that? If you used that money invested in those 2 years, you'd probably be somewhere better than what you're trying to do. Let's value our time, guys. Let's value our time. Look at time. You will never recover it. Those 2 years that you want to waste on doing a master's degree program could be 2 years that you use on starting a business. The money that you wanted to give a university to give you a paper could actually be used to start a business that gives you freedom, where you've got options, where you've got, a room to say no to certain things and yes to the things that are important to you. Thank you very much. Let's like and subscribe and share these videos with your friends. See you next time. Until then, bye-bye.